PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PCN, local stories from Duxbury, Kingston, Pembroke, and Plymouth. We have a great show this week as we take you to 2 Kentucky Derby events that benefited some great nonprofits in our area, and we swing into another benefit, putting for patients at Pembroke High School.
PCN stops into Duxbury Police Department on their Autism Day as they gave out information for residents. And then we head to Plymouth Antiquarian Society as we learn what goes into the opening of an historic house.
We head to Court for Law Day, organized by the Plymouth District Bar Association for area high school students, and Pet Health takes us to Pembroke to learn about ingredients in common pet medications.
Town Talk brings Plymouth's town manager to the set for an update, but we begin in downtown Plymouth. We're just a few weeks away from Plymouth's historical homes opening for the season. With many exciting new events on this year's calendar, it's important to get these homes in tip-top shape before they welcome visitors. We stopped into the Hedge House to talk about what goes into preparing these homes for the season.
So the Antiquarian Society has 3 historic homes here in Plymouth, and it takes a lot of work to get them ready for our visitors. We're open June through August at the Harlow House, the Spooner House, and the Hedge House. And so to prepare them for that, we do a thorough cleaning inside, and then we have a lot of landscape work to do as well. We bring in our docents who give tours of the houses to help with opening them for the season, since they're the most familiar with the collection and they are already trained in how to handle it appropriately. Then we have volunteers and staff who help in the gardens, and so we depend upon probably about 3 or 4 people to help with getting the gardens ready, and we have a landscaper who takes care of the lawns as well.
I love this house. I have always been drawn to this house, and I love the fact that I am a steward of the history of this home. I love giving people tours, especially my Plymouth people who come through and they're like, oh, I've never been in here before, and they cannot believe that they have never stepped foot once they see what this home is about. It's the history of the family. It's just a wonderful place to work. Every year when we're getting ready to open, we will come in and uncloth all the furniture. We have it all prepped in the fall, and now we come in and we take the cloths off. We do light dusting. It usually doesn't need anything heavy. It's very different than cleaning your house at home. First of all, you're wearing white gloves, and you'd never do that at your own house. We don't use chemicals or anything like that. We're using just Swifters and brushes, specialized things such as that. The clock is from 1725, so it's we want to treat it very gently. And I come in twice a week and I wind it. It hasn't been wound since last September, so this will be the first time it's being wound for the season. And it's just one of these things where you just want to be very careful, and I don't want to be the person to damage this old clock.
I think sometimes people in Plymouth think that the museums in town are for tourists, from people who are coming from out of town, out of state, but I would hope that they'd realize that really they're here to understand your community's history. And so every time you can come into one of our homes, you're learning about the past of our community and how people who lived here dealt with questions, some of which we're still dealing with today. And so understanding those stories can help us just hopefully live in a better community in the future.
The Duxbury Police Department held an autism open house, which acted as the launching pad for the Autism Outreach Program. PCN stopped in to get this story.
It was basically the summer uniform, like Officer Hall's.
Today is the Autism Open House. The Autism Outreach Program is a new thing. This is the launching pad for it. So we have a new autism team that specializes in dealing with families with autism, trying to be a resource for them. So we brought them all in here today to learn how to interact with police, things that we might be looking for and things that they need, as well as a wandering sheet, which is going to be huge for if a child with autism wanders away. It gives them exposure to the police department, the things that we can offer. And also, we have some other folks here that can share what they do for autistic folks that aren't related to police. We have someone who has like a GPS radio frequency style tracking system that's huge. It saves a lot of lives. People who get lost get found. We also have some other experts from the school. It's a resource gathering thing, it's a networking thing, but it's also important for the kids to see what we do and who we are and how we can help them, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help people. We want to get the word out about the wandering sheet. It's so huge because autistic folks have a tendency to wander, which can be really dangerous, especially when you consider that they're attracted to bodies of water, and a lot of the time they may not know how to swim. So what we do with the wandering sheet is get a profile on them, likes and dislikes, things that might trigger them, things that they're attracted to. So it helps us ahead of time to save time in terms of getting to find them quicker. It narrows down where they might go, things that will help us speak to them, open them up a little bit, instead of trying to figure it out as we go. We already have a profile. This is awesome. I think as an officer, a lot of people tend to see you as an authority figure, which we are, but we're also community service. That's the biggest part of what we do. We're always interacting with people. We're here during people's worst days, and we're here on people's best days. So we want to turn somebody's worst day into a better day. So especially when it comes to, like I said before, wandering or any kind of medical issue, we're here to help. So if we can get them the resources they need or get somebody home safely, that's the biggest part. And just even interacting with the people here today is great. It brings a smile to your face. I think the most important thing is just how prevalent autism's become, and it's a thing we're learning about more and more. And as it's called autism spectrum, there's folks that are completely nonverbal, and there's folks that are very high function. It goes from one to the other. So for us, it's important for the people with autism to learn how to interact with us, because there's certain mannerisms that police officers may see as suspicious, maybe that they're trying to hide something from us because they're not even talking to us, avoiding eye contact. But when we learn how to interact with people with autism, or they tell us up front, I have autism, and especially with the wandering sheet, that maybe it'll say something like, I don't make eye contact, it's going to completely change how we approach the scenario, which is huge because it's going to help us cover ground faster and get to the bottom of things and get someone the help they might need, or it just helps us interact with them better.
The Pembroke Student Council did their part to raise money and awareness for the fight against pediatric cancer by hosting a Putting for Patients event. They turned the Pembroke High School Gymnasium into an 18-hole miniature golf course and had a great time raising money for a wonderful cause.
Putting for Patients is an event that we started back in 2013. It's a high school event. And what we do is we bring an 18-hole miniature golf course into area high schools for the purpose of fundraising for pediatric cancer care. We have an 18-hole miniature golf course, a putting contest, opportunity drawing, prizes for the golf winners, face painting, food, and a characterist. And what we try to do is get all the students and members of the community where the high schools are located to come in and participate in all the activities and contribute to the Jimmy Fund and pediatric cancer. Anyone who wants to come could come. The student council at the high schools generally, or National Honor Society students or community service students, they're the ones that run the event along with their faculty advisors. I help them organize it, but they're the ones that run the event. They're the ones that do the advertising, and they're the ones really who are responsible. And what it does is it gives high school students a little bit of a feel for what the Jimmy Fund does. Unfortunately, in most of the communities that we do business with, there are, we run the events with, there are kids that do have cancer. So what they're doing is really helping their peers who have a situation which is very, very unfortunate. And as I always say, they have an illness that they don't want and don't deserve. Every single dime that we raise after our costs are completed go right to pediatric cancer care. They go to a specific oncologist for pediatric cancer, who generally they do research. And so all this money goes to a specific purpose and for a very good cause. Generally, we have there's not a cash prize involved. There's either a vacation package where you get something off a vacation package or some other type of things. We also have team prizes. We have teams here that play. The winners of the team winners all get a certificate for a golf club. We have different prizes for the golf winners as well. So, you get something out of playing well. The events generally run 3 hours, and we try to get somewhere between 100 and 200 people. Of course, the more the merrier. And it's just a really, a great event. It's a great event for families. It's a great event for really anyone who likes to play miniature golf, likes to do different things. And the unique part of it is it's not just a golf event, because we have it indoors, so we can have all these other activities for anyone from the ages of 5 to 85 to enjoy.
The Plymouth District Bar Association sponsors a Law Day celebration at the Plymouth Trial Court every year. Law Day started in 1957 by American Bar Association President Charles S. Rhine and is designed to allow students to learn about law heritage and proceedings. It's a full day for students with activities such as legislative speakers, exhibits, tours, and seminars. Another feature is a mock trial, which is run just like a real trial to give youth a realistic view of a courtroom and its proceedings. PCN was invited to attend.
Today is a celebration of the rule of law throughout the United States. Here at the Plymouth District Court, we celebrate it in a number of ways. We have judges address students from local schools. We are about to start a mock trial in which the students will be involved as jurors and possible witnesses, depending how things go. We also have displays in our building of various people involved in the system, such as state police, clerks, and things like that. The idea is to give folks an idea what the legal system is all about under circumstances where they have a better take on it rather than as consumers of criminal justice, as it were. My job will be to be as a judge of the mock trial, and as I tell the students every year, you can tell it's a mock trial because we actually start and stop on time.
Hear you. I call Law Day into order.
We have, for your consumption, a fairly typical district court criminal case. In our society, in a jury trial, the only person in the courtroom that outranks the judge is the jury. I think it's important for young people because it gives them a chance to get a positive exposure to the legal system, as opposed to the one that they get as young adults if they get arrested or get in trouble. We'd like to have a more positive view of the system, lawyers, and other people involved in the system in general. We hope that it gives them a realistic view of what the legal system is all about. The media tends to portray it either as overly negative or overly positive, and I think we're trying to give them a more realistic, pragmatic view of what it's all about. Defendant Mr. Dixon is charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol. In this case, the District Attorney's Office is represented by David Habib. He's an Assistant District Attorney for Plymouth County. The defendant is represented by Attorney Christopher Sheehan.
And my burden today is to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Richard Dixon, is guilty of an OUI.
The only thing that stands between the awesome power of the state and the rights of Mr. Dixon, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, so your role here, Mr. Judge, is certainly the most powerful.
And it's around 12:30 a.m. during your shift where you dispatched to Oak Street for a motor vehicle accident.
I was.
And at some point along the way, you had a car accident?
Yes.
Can you explain what happened?
Mr. Foreman, have you and your members reached agreed upon a verdict in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. The jury finds the defendant guilty.
I hope they walk away with the idea that the legal system doesn't have to be as mysterious or as negative as most people portray it in the media, or they see it in the newspapers, or even in their schools.
When the Kentucky Derby happens every year, not everyone can make it down to Louisville to cheer on their favorite horse and sip mint juleps. For years now, the folks at Alden Park Restaurant in Plymouth have been hosting Kentucky Derby parties and using the event as a means for local nonprofits to have fundraisers for their causes. This year's party raised money for the Plymouth Youth Foundation, and it was a packed house.
This is their 5th year, but this is our first opportunity that we've been chosen as the beneficiary for all the proceeds that they earn from the Kentucky Derby. So very excited. As you can tell, the place is slamming busy, and we've raised quite a bit of funds. We don't know how much yet, but there's a lot of money flowing, and it's going to help a lot of kids.
Well, we were approached by Alden Park with regard to the Kentucky Derby they've done the last 5 years. They pick a nonprofit every year, and we talked to them about it for the Plymouth Youth Foundation. They really heard about all the work we did at the Manomet Youth Center and the work that we're going to continue to do. And the idea of the Plymouth Youth Foundation is get the kids involved in the community, after school programs, on the weekends, keep them busy so they don't get involved in drugs.
The biggest part is local. They're in need. They work with the children. They need money, as most of the groups do. They don't have a lot of their funding. They don't have a group that's out there raising money for them all the time. And they do smaller little events. So we thought it would be good to hit near and dear to our home here in Plymouth. And the Manomet Youth Center definitely needs some help, and we thought it would be a great cause to support. And their people got behind it and helped get all the items and things like that, along with ourselves, but also providing the support to actually execute on day of.
We've had about 150 between silent raffles and raffles. We have 50-50 drawings. We have, the horse races. We have a wine bottle pull of expensive, wine bottles. So all of the funds come to us, and we're going to do great things with it.
The event itself, it's a well-run machine. It's been going on for 5 years now, so it brings the whole community together. And a lot of people come not because of the Kentucky Derby, but yes, they do, but it's also the hats and the clothes that they're wearing. It's really a Kentucky Derby festival, but they're also coming to support a good cause, too. We have silent auction prizes here. We have raffle prizes here. There's all sorts of things that people can donate money to. So they not only pay money for the tickets, but they also pay for everything else that's in here as well. I think anybody who shows up for the first time at this, and this is my first time here, I'll be back again next year. I think other people that you talk to say they will be as well. But I think probably more than half the people that are here tonight have been here before, and that's why they keep coming back.
Such fun. You get to get dressed up, you get to watch a really good horse race, and you get to raise money for a great cause.
What I find funny about these things is that the party goes for about 5 or 6 hours. I think the race takes maybe 5 or 6 minutes.
I know.
But everybody's having a great time. They raised a ton of money. Yeah. That place was jam-packed, and as a photographer, it's kind of tough walking through the place with the camera, but it was a good time.
Yeah, and they had fun. They had so much fun.
And it wasn't the only event going on that day. I was actually at another event earlier that day. The Kentucky Derby is a great opportunity for people to get dressed up in fancy clothes and extravagant hats and attend fundraisers for causes that are near and dear to them. You may not be hobnobbing with billionaires, but maybe raising money for your local school is more important to you than all of that. That's how the folks from the Kingston Foundation for Education felt at this year's party at the East Bay Grill in Plymouth.
This is the Kingston Foundation for Education's 3rd annual Kentucky Derby fundraiser. We're here at East Bay Grill this year. I think we've sold over 330 tickets. The sun is shining, a beautiful day, and we're here to raise money for our schools, grades K through 6, for some technology in our schools. People like to have fun with this theme. We've got a lot of great praise over the years having this event. People don't mind getting dressed up for this one. So come as you are, or feel free to grab a hat and put a dress on and have some fun with us tonight. So we sell our tickets, and we get a great portion of that here through East Bay, but we do have some great raffles and auctions. We've kind of tiered the auctions. We've got some great items this year, and this is the premier event of the year. Great event on the South Shore, the Kentucky Derby. So we're trying to raise some money for our schools. We've made some great progress over the past few years. We've donated over $55,000 to our schools in just the past 2 years alone. And we're looking on June 12th to donate at least $25,000 worth of technology again. So this fundraiser is going to be a huge part of that donation. So a really good friend of mine is in the school systems, and she noticed the need in Kingston. So I've been with the foundation since the start. And it's been 3 great years, and we've been very successful. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And we just want to give all of our children and students every opportunity that we possibly can. I just hope that everyone has a great time. And really, it's nice to see Kingston come together as a community. We have a great representation by Kingston parents tonight, and we're very happy that all these people came out to support Kingston Foundation for Education tonight.
Pet health brings us to Positively Natural in Pembroke to learn about ingredients that are in our flea and tick medications.
Today we're going to discuss a little bit about fleas and ticks and what we can do naturally to prevent them. The problem, particularly with ticks, is that they carry many viruses, and the viruses can be transmitted to humans in some cases. They carry a new virus called the PACTV virus, which has come out, which is deadly to humans, and they carry Lyme disease, which is rampant right now in the New England states. Chemicals will harm the body in the long term. And when you put something into an animal monthly, believe me, if it's not natural, there is going to be cause and effect. Every time you pick a product for your pet, you want to make sure that you consider your dog's health and your dog's age. Those 2 things are very important. An older dog may not be able to take what a younger dog would. Some of the things could cause a little stomach upset if you went with a heavily garlic product. An older dog might not do well with it. Cats certainly have their own things. You need different essential oils for cats than you do for dogs. There are herbal flea and tick collars, very effective. Some are better than others. Again, you have to research them. There are chewables that come in garlic forms, all different types. You have wipes, you have sprays, you have topical. They only last for a week, not a month like the toxic ones do, but the topical ones work extremely well as long as you're vigilant. There's also a powder that you can put into their food, and there's also a liquid that can go into their water. All of these work well as long as you follow the instructions. You must learn how to read ingredients in your panel so that you understand what's natural and what's not. We want to constantly put on items that will repel and not go into the system and hurt. There's also a bunch of essential oils for cats. There is spirulina, there's garlic, alfalfa, kelp, neem, hawthorn, nettles. All of these go into products that naturally prevent fleas and ticks.
Town Talk today brings Plymouth Town Manager Melissa Arrighi back to our set. Welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you.
Lots of things going on, and we're going into summer. We're going into summer.
It's such an exciting time, and it's when we all want to be outside, and the tourists and the residents want to be outside, and of course that's just the time when the town is doing all their work. It's the season, so you're going to see a lot of places ripped up. We'll try and be careful, but there's a lot to get done.
Well, let's talk about a bunch of different things. Let's start with North Plymouth and the Cordage Park.
Finally, in all the years I've worked here, we have talked about starting the Cordage Park project, and it's here. You're going to see us break ground any day now. Okay. Jonathan Beater, our DPW director, has everything lined up. There'll be a beautiful new boulevard that will bring you into Cordage Park. And then we anticipate that Cordage will start their development very soon as well. And we're also working on looking at expanding educational opportunities in Cordage. So boy, that is a place to watch in the future in North Plymouth.
Right. And can you give any idea of what will be inside the development of Cordage Park?
They've proposed different things, but there will be housing units. Closer to transit. Right there. There will most likely be a restaurant. They'll expand the educational facilities, and of course there's medical and offices and a gym near now that will stay.
Beautiful. All right, waterfront. There's some private changes going on in the waterfront?
We're going to see a lot of changes in Plymouth when it comes to Water Street. Now, I think that's surprising for some people, but a lot of that property is privately held. So we've had the Governor Bradford there for a lot of years, but that is under agreement. The potential new owner has approached the town to change Governor Bradford into apartments or condos, but with some storefronts or a restaurant underneath. So it will still have some access to the public. But that'll be a big change for us, as well as staff. We have to consider how that will affect the number of units that we have available in town for visitors that come in for hotels and motels.
Right. Okay. The Plymouth 400.
So
there's tons with
there's
the
a
Plymouth 400.
ton going on with them. Now, they have arranged for their signature events. We keep hearing about these events, but I did officially get a flyer with the dates on them, so that is out there. We can start to really plan for how we'll handle security, how we will move people around, where those events will take place, how can we provide assistance, because you think about litter and rubbish, the more boring aspects of what goes behind an event. And so we'll be working closely with the 400th and staff to see how we can provide full town support for those signature events. But look them up and start to mark your calendar.
Okay, great. The DCR land and the State Pier.
Yeah, so we've
about
talked about the State Pier for a long time. There's so many more things I think that could take place for events, in addition to how it physically looks. So DCR has really partnered with the town on what further things that they can do there. And the governor has made a real commitment to improving the state land locations throughout the Commonwealth. So when it comes to our area, we know how much we want to do the dredging and bring in small ships and improve the park. You're going to see some of those improvements, and you do right now if you go down to Water Street, as we expand the sidewalk into a little bit more of the green space. We hope to be able to partner with them very closely so that over the next couple of years we can make more significant changes.
Okay, great. South Plymouth. Talk a little bit of Taylor Avenue. What's
so
going on in South Plymouth?
You know, you don't forget a part of town. In South Plymouth, there's a lot going on also. White Horse Beach is very popular.
Yes.
Obviously, the town needs to provide more assistance there. It tends to be one of those beaches that, you know, it has more partying, let's say, on it, so it gets more litter and it's a little dirtier, and we're trying to do things to improve that, but at the same time, we're going to be ripping up Taylor Avenue. So we're going to try and avoid the very peak of the summer season, but that's going to be nearly impossible next year as we change that road layout, make it wider, put in some infrastructure. So that's going to be a disruption. It should be beautiful when it's done. In addition, in Manomet, the Sims house that we've talked about on the show before, which the town purchased years ago, we are finally getting ready to reveal how beautiful that renovation looks. We'll have some kind of ribbon cutting, open door ceremony so that people can come in and see what their money was spent on. And then we're looking for a professional nonprofit organization that can run that facility, keep the 2 apartments that are there, bring in some businesses to run the office space, and there'll be meeting room and a social area on the first floor. It's pretty exciting.
That's great. Now, town elections coming up?
Those are coming up. Boy, I haven't seen a selectmen's race like this in some time. So six candidates for selectmen. Yep. I know that there is a school committee. Has some seats that are up. So I think we may have some new interesting faces. I know that on the Board of Selectmen we have a vacant seat. Selectman Page has finished his term and is going to concentrate more on other things, so he is not running again. So certainly there'll be one new executive on that board at least.
Okay, big changes.
Yes.
And we're heading for the very, very busy season in Plymouth.
Yes.
And we're very excited.
The best season, though.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Thank you. We'll have you back for an update very soon.
Great.
Okay. Thank you for watching. You can rewatch at PACTV's Prime channel on our website or find us on YouTube. PCN is also on social media, so check us out there. Stay tuned as a new PCN Life episode is coming right up.